for the moment you've all been waiting for. Brother, revolutionary, warrior man, Alton Maddox.
No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? 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 Well, you make sure you talk to love the woman back. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In the words of one of my beloved late comrades, Dr. Khalid Muhammad.
Oh, wow.
I won't be long, but I will be strong. I'm very honored for all that you have done in terms of our various struggles, because the reality of it is that you're the one who really need to be applauded. And because of your commitment to the struggle, it would really take a social parasite to betray your goals, your aims, and your ambitions. And so, I'm not one who can do that, because our people have struggled too long for freedom. And I'm certainly not going to be the one to betray it. I would like to say that I appreciate to be here for Move, for Ramona, for Pam, for our day's guests, Michael Cord, and Leon Williams, to the United African Movement who is here, and they may stand, who really you know, Philadelphia is like my home city and town. A lot of people don't know, but the first bar that I was admitted to was Pennsylvania. So it has a long history, and when we used to come here, I was really introduced to Philadelphia and Pennsylvania by my wife, Alton Maddox, who's in the back. And we've had some wonderful times over the years. I'm glad that Ralph and Linda are here. I saw Ralph maybe a couple weeks ago, and I just said, you know, I'm gonna be in Philadelphia on this date. And that was it. Then we got the word that Ralph, who is that?
Somebody wants to bring you the truth, and you live in laboring under an illusion.
Okay. 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 And who is that?
Who am I?
No, what I'm trying to get to, who is the social parasite you're referring to?
Well, you refer to a person, a social parasite.
Yeah, that's Charles Hammond Houston words.
Okay. All right.
Not mine. He said that
Can we hear from Alton Maddox? We can take questions later. Can we hear from Brother Maddox?
Charles Hammond Houston said, any black lawyer.
Why now?
Charles.
Let's let
Charles Hamilton Houston said, any black lawyer who is not a social engineer is a social parasite. And the last time I checked, there's a whole lot of them out here. There's a lot of social parasites. I've tried not to be one of them. No, I'm not part of the system. No, I'm not part of the system. Well, on any other given day, but I could hardly be accused of being part of the system. If I'm a part of the system going to hell. So that's all I have to say about that. So for the next 3 minutes, let me say my piece. You know, we've been talking about the police, and we've been talking about the prison industrial complex. And there's really a connection between both. It just happens that we are here in the state that modeled the prison industrial complex, Pennsylvania. New York wrote its gradual emancipation statute in 1799 after Pennsylvania. Wow. And in the gradual emancipation statute that Pennsylvania drafted, it also had as a component a statewide prison system. Wow. Now, basically what that means is simply this. Those of us who are not behind bars are still under the control of the police. That's what it means. That's the standing army in violation of the Second Amendment. The Philadelphia Police Department is a standing army. The New York Police Department is a standing army. Both of them are violating the Second Amendment, but they're only necessary because we are here. If we were not here, there would be no need for a standing army. But because we are here, there is a need for a standing army. And so when we look at our problems, it all relates to the system that Pennsylvania first drafted. It was the gradual emancipation statute here in this state that other states borrowed. And by 1827, in New York, on July 4th, was the date of our so-called emancipation. But it's very interesting because it's not liberation. See, there's a difference between emancipation and liberation. And so all of these different statutes came to bear in 1863 on January 1st when Abe Lincoln said that he had, quote, freed the slaves. And really he had freed nobody. Because those, quote, slaves he could have freed, he didn't. Otherwise, we all remain in bondage. And we're still in slavery today. Because that's what this struggle is about. This struggle is about slavery. It never came to an end. It never came to an end. And, you know, we started talking about the sisters. Most people have the image of someone being lynched as a black male. Come on. But we've had our share of lynchings of our sisters. For a period of from 1890 to 1925, over 100 black women were lynched. in the United States. Now, the lynching that really inspired me was the lynching of Mary Turner in Southwest Georgia. After her husband did not return home, she went down to the sheriff's department and said that I know that you did something wrong to him. This is Dawson, Georgia, Dawson County, Georgia, in part of the Black Belt. She said, I knew you did something wrong to him, and I'm going to the federal authorities tomorrow. Mistake number one, never tell white folks what to get ready to do. Mistake number one, because that night, the sheriff gathered a posse and made a visit on her home. And they drug her out of her home to the highest Georgia pine, where they built a fire up under her, and then they raised her up. And when they raised her up, they saw that she was pregnant. And they said, slit her stomach and kill that nigga. And the baby fell out of the stomach and into the fire. And they all stumped the baby. Now that's the case that inspired me to really practice law. And I wasn't even 60 years old yet. But that's the case that brought my fire and got me going in the right direction. The lynching of Mary Turner. And that's why today, when many others might not stand with Tawana Brawley and the Brawley family, I am.
That's right.
Because you see, you can't build a nation without women. You can't build a nation without women. And you got to have women who have confidence in you. Think that you would do the right thing yourself, that you would be a strong black man to stand with them and behind them. And so, as I said before, I'm running out of time. I'm not running out of gas, but I'm running out of time. And sometimes, you know, that can bring things to a screeching halt. But I will simply say that I love all of you for all that you have done in terms of the struggle. And the struggle will continue. And as I announced in New York, I will be back in the courtroom next month.
That's right.
And I'm not going into the courtroom on the white man's permission. I'm going into the courtroom on my mission. There's a difference between his permission and my mission. And so, until then, we got a lot of work to do. We really do. We have the chokehold case of Eric Garner in New York right now. And we passed some things out about that. We're going to raise the money to get the bail for the videographer out of prison. Because that's very detrimental. And we're going to raise other money to continue that struggle. I'm going to say this and then I'm through, Pam. Ramona.
Take your time.
I won't mention a bad word, but y'all saw the mention, go past the bad word. In July of 1988, Reverend Sharpton and I Reverend Sharpton and I had left the studios of WLIB, and we had gone up to a coffee shop up on 2nd Avenue between 43rd and 44th. And Reverend Sharpton said they wanted to talk to me. We had earlier had just come from Atlanta for the Democratic National Convention. And we had taken the Brawleys and others down, and we were greeted there by Minister Farrakhan in Atlanta. And so we had a real busy schedule, did a lot of things. But when we came back, he said, Alton, you know, the people who are our supporters really want to form an organization. Because you see, we had held Glenda, who was under attack at Bethany Baptist Church for 40 days and 40 nights.
That's right.
And kept the police at bay.
Tell it.
And so he said, the people feel like it's time for an organization. And I said, well, I'm skeptical of that. I didn't necessarily tell him in his face, but I was very skeptical for an organization with him and C. Brother Mason. I was just a little bit skeptical of forming an organization with him. But anyway, I said to him, I said that whatever organization you want to form, do it. And whatever person you want to honor, name that person. And I will go and live my life in the tradition of that person as the head of the organization, because his words were that the people wanted me to be the chairperson of the organization. And I told him that I would do so, not knowing who they would introduce as our spiritual mentor. But they came back and said, we want to form this organization on August 17th, 1988, in memory of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garden. And I said to Reverend Sharpton, I'm not going to name the organization because I want you to do all of that. I said, but I have one stipulation, and that stipulation is the word movement must be a part of the name. The word movement must be a part of the name. Now, I will grant to you that I don't have that kind of wisdom and intelligence, but the ancestors were talking to me as I was talking to him. And we met and assembled at Friendship Baptist Church on August 17, 1988, in memory of the Honorable Marcus Garden. And the name of the organization that they came up with, recognizing my stipulation, was the United African Movement. And that means on the move. On the move. On the move.